who are responsible to give us books, Mister. Mister, just a minute. Mister, why they give us like a course book and we have it in our iPads, and Mister didn't give us a workbook. We need a workbook more than a course book, Mister.
I didn't get anything that you said.
That's good, Mister. I wanna say a message, and you want who are responsible to the books to receive it, Mister. Why he give us in like a books that are, Mister, so expensive to the school, and Mister, and they didn't give us in a workbook, and we have this course book in our iPads.
All right, so you want a course book, right?
No, I want a workbook. I don't need a
Workbook,
course book.
workbook.
Yes.
Okay. What I can do for you is I have the ebook, the PDF files of the workbook.
We have it, Mister. The course book they gave us yesterday, usual.
Not the course book. I'm talking about the workbook as an ebook. In the
Yes.
EBGRE, it's going to be electronic form. It's not going to be a hard copy. I have a soft copy of the workbook. So
Can
you
you
can
can you
solve it
share it?
on your iPad. Yes, I can share it with you. I'll start putting it up on the canvas, page by page, right?
Okay.
And you would be able to do the workbook. What is the second thing that you want to highlight?
Yes,
Exclusive?
Mister. The next year, or don't buy it like Mister course book if you have it in the iPad. We need just a workbook. Don't buy in a hard copy of course books.
Okay, you don't want to buy the course books.
No, Mister. No, I wanna buy the course book, but in the iPad. I don't need Mister a huge book.
You need to have an ebook instead of the hard copy,
Yes,
right?
and the
Okay.
workbook we need in a hard copy.
Okay, good. That is a good opinion. The administration, you can talk to them. They can do something, definitely something about it, because the workbook is something you need to write on, and ebook, the course book can be an ebook which you can read from the iPad. Makes a
Yes,
lot.
and you can highlight it also. And can you erase the highlight in the iPad?
Yes, you can highlight it as well. Definitely, you have a point. So, okay, anything else? Abdulaziz is going to raise, he wants to talk. Abdulaziz, yes?
Yes, Mister, I want to tell you that, in my opinion, the course book is much better than the activity book. And because when you are studying, Mister, your eyes, يعني, it gets so harm when you study a lot because the science in this year is so hard.
Yeah.
And I asked them yesterday, Ghazi, that when you will bring, they say, inshallah, next week or after 2 weeks, they will bring the course book for English, math, and science.
Inshallah.
I mean, not the course book, the activity book.
All right, good. So
I
that
asked
is
Mr. Dr. Saeed Zahrani.
so Abdulaziz has a very valid point. That is true that once you are reading from the iPad, your eyes will get affected, and reading from a book would be much more
And
easier. Yes.
Mr. also, and the course book in the iPad, it's scanned, and it's very bad. Because of that, I complained yesterday. I went to Dr. Saeed and also asked him about the course book and when he will give it to us. And then when they give me the book, I saw that it was the course book, and I was very happy, Mister. It is very
Yeah.
good. Also, my mom told me to tell Dr. Saeed that we need a course book
Good. So it's
because
always
it's
better.
scanned, and not like the math and English. I don't know English, but math, it's in Safari, so you can open it, and it's very, very good and clear. But when it's scanned in the iPad, it's very bad. I can't see anything.
Right. Agreed. So the scanning should be of good quality. That is agreeable. So thank you, Abdulaziz. Thank you very much. Let's put the hand down. Ghazi is raising a hand again. Yes, Ghazi.
I
Don't
don't
start a debate on
about
it.
this point, Mister. I want like the book that you send it us in an ebook. You don't open it from Safari. You scan it with your printer. Yes, Mister.
Yes, I scanned it myself.
I want like Mister and a code that you open the like in the math and English book. We open
Yeah,
Safari. It's
I
clear.
understand your point. I understand
Yes,
your
Mister.
point. You need a
And
copy.
the point, Mister, if you have every classes we have in a course books, the iPad will be useless. You understand me? It just be for YouTube and playing. You understand me, Mister?
Ghazi, this is not a debate. okay, let's close this point so we can start the lesson. Right? You made your point, he made his point, and good enough. So this is the way you guys want to learn. Either it's going to be a hard book or there's going to be an iPad. You should have it both. That's what I would agree upon. Some people like to read it on the hard book. Some people like to skim it over the iPad. Both have their qualities, advantages and disadvantages. Pros and cons are both there. So we are not going to discuss it now. So let's get back to the session, and we will be going through the leaves. We will be looking into the structure of the leaf because this is very important. And even if you, as if you have seen the review pack, it has a few diagrams where we are asking questions related to photosynthesis and the structure of the leaf. So most probably the exam would be around these topics as well. So there's a new video, a different video, I mean, related to the structure of the leaf, the adaptation of the leaf, the topic that is adaptation. Once we say adaptation, we are looking at how the leaves have adapted themselves so they can do more photosynthesis, and what are the different structures of the leaf, what is the job of stomata, what do the xylem and phloem muscles do. So we will look into these details. So let me get there inside. And okay, nobody's in the waiting room. Good. So let's start the video.
Welcome. I'm pretty sure you have held a leaf up close before. It must have looked simple enough. A midrib, the veins, its slender body called the lamella or lamina, its apex or tip. These are all characteristics or distinct qualities of the leaf, but there's a lot more we cannot see with our naked eyes. In this lesson, we're going to talk about the qualities that allow such a simple leaf to carry out the complex process of photosynthesis. Let's start with the qualities that are easy to see. A leaf is flat and broad. This flat and broad surface is called the lamella or the lamina. The broad or large surface area of the lamella allows for maximum absorption of light. Lamella is a Latin word which translates to a flake or a thin piece, so it is no surprise to learn that the lamella is also very thin. The thin lamella allows light to penetrate or get into the deeper portions of the leaves. Another way that leaves are adapted for photosynthesis is by way of their position. They are placed or arranged on the branches in such a way as to collect as much sunlight as possible. Now, let's look closer at the parts of the leaves you and I cannot ordinarily see. The leaf has 3 layers overall. It has a very important layer called the mesophyll. This layer lies between the upper and the lower epidermis. But before we concentrate on the mesophyll, there are the epidermal cells. These are really thin cells that make up the upper epidermis, and this thinness allows a lot of sunlight to reach the mesophyll. Now to what I would regard the most important layer.
All right, Basim has a question. Yes, Basim?
Yes, mister. I can say my question after the video finishes. I don't want to interrupt the class.
No, it's okay. You can ask the question. No problem. Let me check if you have understood it. First, ask the question. Give me the answer as well.
Yes, mister. The question I have is, mister, leaves or plants do photosynthesis with sunlight, right?
Yes.
Okay. What if I get a plant and put it indoor and I don't make it at the sun? I just put a light.
Yes.
Is it gonna still do photosynthesis?
Oh, yes, it can.
Oh.
The light, the sunlight, and the artificial light from the bulb, from the tube lights, is good enough for the plant to do photosynthesis. And Abdullah is trying to show us his new periodic table for chemistry. It looks amazing and beautiful. So your camera is on, but everybody can see you. So why you are so embarrassed about it? So it looks beautiful. It looks good. And it's excellent. Is it a background or a real picture? Real picture. Okay. So good. So let's see Yusuf Idris connected in. So let's go back to the session. Let me rewind a little bit. She's talking about the different layers. So the upper and lower epidermis. This is the upper side. When she was showing you the leaf, with this is the upper side, right? This is the upper side, and the underneath the bottom is going to be your lower epidermis. So let's go back to it.
The upper and the lower epidermis. But before we concentrate on the mesophyll, there are the epidermal cells. These are really thin cells that make up the upper epidermis, and this thinness allows a lot of sunlight to reach the mesophyll. Now to what I would regard the most important layer, the mesophyll. It is rich in cells that contain chloroplasts, and it is split into the palisade mesophyll and spongy mesophyll. The palisade cells are packed with chloroplasts and lie at a right angle to the upper epidermis. That's at 90 degrees.
All right, some of the students are complaining that it is a bit glitchy. So let me make it. Okay, sorry, this was Ahmed was asking that. So I replied to the wrong person. So let me send him the message. Basim, you have another question? Yes.
No, mister, this is from a long time.
Okay, let me lower your head. All right. So this is where it shows you the upper part. Now the complete part, if we group them together, we're gonna call the mesophyll. But inside the mesophyll, we have two parts. One is palisade, one is spongy mesophyll. So palisade mesophyll are those which are responsible for doing the chloroplast. These cells, which you can see, let me grab the pen and let me change the color to red. Okay, so these cells over here, this part, they are responsible for doing the photosynthesis. They are known to be a palisade mesophyll. The spongy mesophyll, they are loosely arranged, and they would allow this tube, xylem and phloem, to come in. And they would allow some space so that oxygen, carbon dioxide, and water can either move out or move in. Through, there are going to be some holes over here, stomatas, so that it can go from these points. So right now we don't have a proper picture of stomata, but maybe in the next part of the video. So the spongy mesophyll are loosely arranged, so they can accommodate water, carbon dioxide, and oxygen, and they can move around. Plus, they accommodate the xylem and the phloem. The job of the xylem, let me remind you, the job of the xylem was to bring water from the roots to the leaves. And whatever the leaf is producing is going to send it to the roots through phloem. So upwards, xylem. Downwards, phloem. So let's continue. Let me clear this drawings and let's go back.
These chloroplasts lie at the periphery or outer edge, and this arrangement allows for easy activation during photosynthesis. The palisade cells also contain large vacuoles where they store the products of photosynthesis. The spongy mesophyll lies beneath the palisade mesophyll, and it has large intercellular spaces or large air spaces between its cells, a lot like a sponge. These air spaces aid the efficient diffusion or movement of oxygen and carbon dioxide around the cells of the leaf. The guard cells are bean-shaped cells in the lower epidermis, and they surround or guard the stomata. They help.
So she has finally spoken about the stomata. This was the right place where I was drawing. This is the right place from where the gases are going in and out. Carbon dioxide goes in, oxygen goes out during the daytime, and at the nighttime, this can go reverse. Carbon dioxide will come out and oxygen will go in because at nighttime the plants are just respiring like us. They stop photosynthesis and they respire. One thing she mentioned about the palisades, the mesophyll, is that these cells have large vacuoles. Good, Abdullah Rafa. So Abdullah will tell us that why do these palisade cells have large vacuoles? You took it before.
I was talking about the stoma.
Oh, okay, strong. So, all right. So, Ghazi wants to answer. Okay, let's have Ghazi.
Mister, I think because there's so much gas that affected carbon dioxide, so much oxygen outside, Mister, it's entering or
No,
carbon dioxide.
I'm asking about the palisade mesophyll. Why do they have large vacuoles? Abdurrahman
Because
says chlorophyll is great. Yes, it is great. It does the photosynthesis.
no,
Yes,
Mister, because in the air we have so much carbon dioxide. She need so much carbon dioxide. I think so. I'm not guessing. I'm guessing. Okay.
guessing that you're missing.
I'm guessing, Mister. I'm guessing. I'm not saying the right answer, but I guess because, Mister, they
Okay.
need carbon dioxide so much.
The large vacuoles, what was the job of the vacuole, if anybody remembers? A vacuum to accumulate a lot of air to breathe. Okay, not a vacuum, it's a vacuole. Loule. Let me write it down on the screen with the white font so that it appears large vacuole. Is it visible? Yes, now it is. So large L is missing actually. Let me write it down again. And have to write on top of it large. No, I didn't write it at all. Let me write it here so I will have space. Large vacuole. Large vacuole, not vacuum. These palisade mesophyll cells have large vacuoles. The job of the vacuole was, Razi is raising a hand. I'm going to explain this part now. Yes.
I think transport water.
Transport water. The transportation's job is with the xylem.
Yes.
Xylem. These
They're
tubes,
connected,
brown
Mister.
tubes. Oh,
Allah,
xylem.
Mister, I'll forget everything. I don't know
It's
why.
okay. It's okay. Alas, I don't speak Spanish, so please speak in English. So the large vacuole, my spelling, look at the spelling of my large. So, the large vacuole is meant for storing the glucose. The vacuole is for storing the excess amount of sugar, the excess amount of water as well. So it stores the glucose, not the oxygen. Yes, it stores the glucose because these guys are responsible for making the glucose. And yes, it could be stored as a form of starch. It could be stored in the form of glucose. Both are open for, what do we call it? Both are open for the storage purpose. So let's go back to this. Let me clear all the drawings.
Help in controlling the rate of transpiration or gaseous exchange by opening and closing the stomata. They are the only cells in the epidermis that contain chloroplasts, and this gives them the added.
I'm sorry, my net is a little bit unstable. I keep on receiving this message, so I'm going to keep my webcam off so you guys can see the video properly. And Wes wants to ask a question. Yes, Wes?
Mr. The stoma, what does it do? Can you say it again?
The stoma is responsible. It's a gate from which oxygen, carbon dioxide, and water can move in and out. Carbon dioxide goes in, oxygen comes out during the daytime. But if it's a nighttime, carbon dioxide will go out and oxygen will go in. Just like we are breathing. We breathe in oxygen, we breathe out carbon dioxide. at the night time. So the plants at the night time respire like us, and at the night time, in the daytime, the carbon dioxide is absorbed and oxygen is given out, and photosynthesis takes place. Right?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, Abdullah is raising a hand. Yes, Abdullah?
I was just going to answer waste. That's it.
Okay, so answer it, please.
You know about the stoma and whatnot. You already answered it.
Yes, please. I want to hear how you explain.
Oh, so essentially it's like a gate or something, or like the only, no, yeah, technically the only way for gases to enter and get out, like to get the carbon dioxide in and out. It's like responsible for the exchange of
Yes,
it's
sir.
responsible for the exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen, and some people call it like the lungs of the leaf or whatnot, because technically that's what it is. Yeah.
Right, absolutely right. Why do we call them gates? Can we close them? Can we open them?
I don't know. I don't know if you can close them though.
Yes, you can.
We can.
Yes, they close and they open. That's why they're called gates. So if there's a lot of heat and the sun is brightly shining and the plant doesn't have enough water, it shuts down the gate, stops the gaseous exchange, and reserves the water inside. So that, do you humans have one? Tahir Al Ghaddi. No, not unfortunately, not yet. But we are looking at a technology where we might be integrating chloroplast with the human body, human cells, and we will be soaking in the sunlight and making glucose for ourselves. So we don't have to eat from the outside. So let's go back to the video. Ghazi, if there's a confusion, please raise a hand. I'm trying to finish the video. Okay, there's a confusion. Yes.
Mister, okay, which part may change glucose to fructose?
Which part of the what?
Which part of the cell change glucose to fructose?
Which part of the cell changes it?
Change glucose to fructose.
The Golgi complex does that. The
Where
Golgi
can we-
complex has the ability to convert the glucose into any form, into starch, into fructose, maltose, depending upon where it is. If it is in the fruit, it would change it to fructose and maltose. If it is in the roots, it's extra amounts of storage, it's going to be starch, and so forth and so on.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so let's go to the next part of the video.
Advantage of contributing to the production of photosynthetic products. Stomata is plural for stoma, and they are pores in the lower epidermis that open and close to control gaseous exchange or the movement of gases into the leaves. The xylem is the part of the plant that transports water from the roots up to the stem and then to the leaves, while the phloem can be described as the part that moves manufactured food from the leaves to other parts of the plant.
All right, the name of the video is actually available on the canvas. If we go to the canvas, you will find it. There's an adaptation of the leaf for photosynthesis. Did you find it? Okay, good. So you want to put it on TV? You can put it on TV, no problem.
While the xylem and phloem are not necessarily parts of the leaf, they are important parts of the plant as a whole because they are the two types of transport systems found in vascular plants. We've gone through so much detail on the many ways a seemingly simple leaf is built for photosynthesis. We mentioned its broad, flat shape and its thin lamella, and also the position of the leaf. Microscopically, we talked about the thin epidermal cells, the arrangement of the palisade cells in the palisade mesophyll, the abundance of chloroplasts in these palisade cells, and the large vacuoles that act as a store for photosynthetic products. We elaborated on the sponge-like nature of the spongy mesophyll with its large intercellular spaces, the guard cells that contain chloroplasts, and also open and close the stomata. And the stomata itself, the pores that allow gaseous exchange between the leaf and its environment. And although the
Yes, Abdulaziz, you are showing something on the camera. I'll give you the mic. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Abdulaziz, you were showing something on the camera. So I'm asking what is it?
I was just playing.
MashaAllah. Okay, so please focus. Please focus. So let me revise with you guys. What we done. There's actually one thing which is missing. She missed one part. Who can highlight that? What did she miss? Any opinions? Any guess? What is missing in this diagram? Yes, Ghazi.
Mr. The waxy layer.
Very good, excellent point. So where is the maxillary gonna be?
On the
Basim
top.
Lafi, yep, that is the top of what? Hold on, please. Basim wants to say yes, Basim.
Yes, Mr.
Speakers and mic close together. Yes. Hello.
I was gonna say waxy layer.
You have to be away from the speakers because your voice is echoing back.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah, that's better. So yes, what did you
I
say?
was gonna say waxy layer.
Yes,
only
waxy.
thing
Where
that
is
he
the
didn't
waxy
say.
layer?
It's on the upper epidermis.
What is the second name for the maxillary?
Huh?
What is the second name for the maxillary?
Secondary?
Second name, N-A.
Second name, I forgot.
Think about it. Oh, Abdullah has a television screen. That's what he was showing us. I thought it was a picture of the. Okay, good. So yes, Basim just muted himself. Okay. What is the second name for the maxillary? And Awais, yes, Awais.
Mister, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now, but there's a little bit of background noise with the Ghazi, so I'm going to mute him for a minute.
Not from me.
Yes, I know.
Second name for waxy layer, cuticle.
Cuticle, perfect. Good job. So that's the thing which is missing in this diagram, and she didn't even discuss about it. What is the job of the maxillary, Abdullah?
To protect it essentially from like I believe like, to protect it from like small things like a wax layer. I believe it's for the rain, but I could be mistaken.
It is a little bit of protection from the rain, yes. And the second job?
I do not know.
You don't know?
I don't recall it at least.
No, it does protect the structure of the leaf from the wind and the air. If it's blowing really hard and the rain is really fast, it protects, yes. And the second job, somebody sent a message. It doesn't let the water out. Yes, Owas, you're absolutely right. It protects the water
Oh,
evaporating from the top surface.
yeah, we took this on Nearpod like 1 week ago or something.
Yes, that is true. So this is also true about protecting the plant from the rain, which is also acceptable, and also about protecting the water loss from the leaf. Okay, good. So let me show you another. We are left with 10 minutes. So let me show you one little revision of the. We have a Nearpod, but that's a vascular system though. And there's this one. So
just like in animals, plants have different levels of organization, with lots of similar cells combining to form tissues, different types of tissues combining to form organs, and then multiple organs combining to form organ systems. To see how these fit together, we're going to take a look at the structure of a leaf, which itself is an organ. And along with the stem and roots, it forms an organ system that's function is to transport substances around the plant. This image here is a cross-section of a leaf, as though you sliced it from top to bottom and are looking inside. Before we explore these structures though, it's worth considering its function. Leaves are the site of photosynthesis, which we'll cover in another video, but basically it requires lots of carbon dioxide and water in order to make sugars. The water comes from the soil and is transported to the leaves via the roots and xylem, as we'll see in the next video. But the carbon dioxide diffuses directly into the leaf from the outside air, through lots of little holes called stomata. In fact, each of the leaves will have thousands of these stomata, and they're scattered through the lower epidermis, which is a layer of epidermal tissue. Once the carbon dioxide has diffused through these little holes, it moves up the leaf and enters the spongy mesophyll tissue, which has lots of air gaps between the cells, so that the gas can easily diffuse through to the next layer, which we call the palisade mesophyll layer. This is where most of the photosynthesis happens, and so the palisade cells are packed full of chloroplasts. Above this, we have the upper epidermis, which is another layer of epidermal tissue. These cells are almost transparent though, as the sunlight needs to be able to pass through them to get to the chloroplasts in the palisade cells beneath. And once photosynthesis has finally produced the sugar molecules, they're carried to the rest of the plant by these green tubes here, which we call the phloem. Now the main problem that leaves face is water loss. The xylem, which runs next to the phloem here, continually brings water up from the roots for the palisade cells to use in photosynthesis. But that water can be lost from both the top and bottom of the leaf. To reduce this water loss, the leaf has a waxy cuticle on top, which is basically a thin waterproof layer of lipids that the water can't get through. When it comes to the bottom of the leaf, the main problem is the stomata, as the water will diffuse out of any gaps really easily. The leaves need these holes though, so they can get the carbon dioxide that they need. As a compromise, the leaves keep their stomata open for as short a time as possible, so that they can maximize carbon dioxide absorption, but minimize water loss. In order to achieve this delicate balance, each stoma, which...
Alright, Basim has a question. Yes, Basim?
Mister, my charger of the iPad is 2. What shall I do?
Sorry, say it again. Your charger of the iPad is?
My charger of the iPad is too low. It's 2%. And
The battery is 2%.
yeah, the battery is 2%.
The charger is the one which charges the battery. So plug it in, use a charger.
Maybe I can rescue it, maybe not.
You should be. The battery, if it is good enough, healthy, you'll be able to survive another 5 minutes. Ghazi has a question. Yes, Ghazi?
Mr. Basim shout out about the batteries. Mr. Sometimes I put my batteries if it's expired, I put it in the refrigerator, and Mr. It's refill itself. Why?
Is it related to leaves of the plants?
No, Mr. But after the lesson, can I discuss it with me?
Yes, the temperature does have an effect on the electrons in the eyes. The ability to retain the electrons in the battery improves if the temperature is low. If it is between 15 to 45 degrees Celsius, they have the optimum performance. And if it is above, then the battery will be less healthy.
Thank you.
All right, okay. So it's all about physics. We might be discussing about these things in physics, that how does the temperature has an effect on the battery.
Which is what we call a single stomata.
Okay, OS has a question. Yes, OS?
So, Mister, if I put my phone in the fridge, will it recharge?
If you put your phone in the fridge, it will become cold.
It will not recharge.
It will not recharge. It might show 2 to 5% battery back again. You know, if it was like 50%, you might see 55, 53. So a little bit of effect will be on it. But if the phone is getting warm because of multitasking and you have multi-app on, that will drain the battery faster if they keep on working on the background, and they will increase the temperature of the phone as well. So try to keep one application, two applications running at the same time.
طيب
Especially
مستر
keep the location off because that drains most of the battery and makes the cell phone warm again.
طيب مستر
Yes.
when my phone is like hot, one time I forgot it in the car and it became hot. It wasn't opening, but then I wash it with water and then it opened.
Mashallah. Did you put it in the washing machine or did you just put it in the dishwasher?
Dishwasher.
Very good. Excellent. Which phone is it? Samsung or Apple?
Apple.
Apple? Why not banana? So look, there's actually a video. Boys have been doing a lot of experiments on it. They usually take a Samsung and an iPhone and they put it in the boiling water. That's about 100 degrees Celsius. And the iPhone has the ability to survive for about 15 to 20 seconds, I guess. So it gives up if the temperature is high because their circuits might, get melted. There's a silicon inside which can get overly heated, and the battery is explosible if it is staying for too long in a hot temperature. So you have to be careful with these electronic gadgets. So let's go back to leaves.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Abdullah, you have a question?
No, no, just somebody, I don't know who said if you put it in the refrigerator, it would work. Only if you put a phone in the refrigerator, it would freeze and just not work.
And you don't have to put it in the freezer. We said refrigerator. That's about
Oh, right.
50. So yeah, it will
Well,
freeze.
we are wasting the lesson. There's literally 1 minute or like a couple of seconds left, like 50
Okay,
seconds. So let's
so,
use
so
that time.
we'll close the recording because this is not the topic we should be discussing.